What is going on, guys? SkiveWalker here, and we're back with another episode. And today, got a special guest, the TIE fighter, Mr. Tyler Cross. How you doing, brother?
Oh, I can't complain.
Yeah, good work day.
I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
Not too busy, just a little bit here and there.
Oh yeah, good stuff. All right, we're gonna jump right into it. Since we haven't talked in a bit, let's get your thoughts on the Super Bowl. Did you like it? Didn't like it? Is Brady the GOAT? What do you got?
I didn't mind it. I mean, I'm a big fan of a defensive game like anybody else, but I think the one thing that kind of stood out was you really saw the inexperience with the Rams. I think Jared Goff and some of those other guys kind of felt the pressure a little bit and didn't really know how to respond, but you got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, Belichick came up with a great defensive scheme to kind of stop their offense. I don't know what happened with Gurley, but for him only get like 5
Right.
touches, something doesn't seem to quite add up. But
Yeah, I don't know what McVay was doing, to be completely honest.
right, you get
Shocked.
You got the league's top rusher, and you don't even use him.
Right, he sits on the bench half the game.
All the reports up to it say he's healthy, say there's nothing wrong,
Right.
yet they don't use him.
Doesn't play.
So
Yep.
I would have much liked to see another Breeze-Brady matchup, but
Yeah,
sometimes...
do you think the Saints got screwed?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
Most
Okay,
definitely.
I thought so. Is Brady the GOAT?
I don't think so. I don't know how you can consider a guy that 10-yard, 5-yard passes. I mean, just about any quarterback can make those if
Right.
coverage is there. I mean,
Yeah,
Julian Edelman made that game. So.
Right. I personally think it's more that Belichick's possibly the greatest coach of all time, and he just got the perfect system quarterback. Because I personally think if you put Peyton Manning in that system, I don't know if Peyton Manning loses.
No.
I mean, that guy, he really might be like 9 for 9 in the Super Bowl. We're talking to him about him being the greatest athlete of all time. Like as a professional player across all sports.
Yeah, I don't see it.
So, I agree. I don't think Brady. I think he's the most overrated quarterback and overrated player in NFL history.
I don't know if I'd quite say he's overrated, but I think he's overhyped.
He's definitely overhyped. All right, so All-Star break is officially over, and the Cavaliers start tonight at 7 o'clock against the Phoenix Suns. What did you think of the All-Star break? Did you watch any of it? Did you watch the 3-point contest, dunk contest, All-Star game?
I didn't really watch any of the Saturday festivities where we were out of town doing a lot of stuff. But I did watch the first half of the All-Star game, and this whole, I understand it's for entertainment, but I kind of like the idea of you got the best players play the best basketball. It's not just, all right, let's just who can chuck up the most threes.
I agree.
I liked it last year where it was kind of like teams actually played defense. You actually had an actual basketball game rather than let's just go out and just kind of screw around. But
do you like the team captain idea or do you like the East and West idea better?
I kind of like the team captain idea, but then at the same time, they kind of make it a little more different rather than all right, your top vote getter gets the first pick because now you know who he's going to take,
right?
Or do some kind of system where they make it a little more random.
I got it. See, and this is where I think the MLB completely botched it. I also like competitive All-Star games, which is why I don't really care for the Pro Bowl because they don't really care. And that's why I didn't watch the NBA All-Star game because they just chuck shots up. I mean, Damian Lillard shot, 6 half quarters that game? So, to me, I guess it is entertaining and they're trying to push their brand and push their certain fan base. And NBA now more than ever is more of a... People aren't fans of the team, they're fan of a player. But I think if you made it like the MLB, like the MLB used to be, where they force teams to make it competitive. So if you win, your conference gets home field first, or NBA case, you get home court first. I don't know. I think I like that a little bit more because then you don't maybe not play hard for the first 3 quarters, but coming down to the fourth quarter is probably close. And maybe those final 5 minutes can make or break somebody's season. So, I don't know. I wish the MLB would go back to whoever wins the All-Star game gets home field advantage. I personally liked it, and that's why I like the All-Star game.
Gives you something to play for. Gives you a reason to want to actually go out and compete rather than just kind of put on a show.
Right, and especially now in the NBA, it should be an honor to go to the All-Star game. But, again, since it's more of a fan liking a player more, it's a popularity contest. So when you're looking at Hall of Fame records, it doesn't matter if you go to 15 All-Star games anymore. I mean, I guess it does to a degree because you have to be somewhat good to be popular, but if you just show up in the dunk contest, the next year people are going to like you because you dominated the dunk contest. And like I used the example, I don't think Zach LaVine's a good enough basketball player to make $20 million a year, but because he dominated the dunk contest, I think he got $20 million a year because of that.
Right.
And because he knew he would sell tickets in Chicago.
Right, exactly. And
So
even with that, I think like I saw the highlights of the dunk contest, and compared to some of the ones in the past, I thought this one's actually kind of weak.
it was soft. Really, the only dunk I liked was when the dude dunked over Shaq.
Right.
I thought it was probably his best dunk because he dunked over Shaq and then put his whole arm in the hoop, so he pulled his Vince Carter impersonation.
So, and I guess there's speculations of Giannis considering doing it next year, which
Yeah,
could
that
be
would be
interesting.
that would be fun.
Can you only imagine having Giannis with Zion?
Oh my
Do it with
gosh.
Zion, and throw in maybe that'll bring back like Aaron Gordon,
Right.
some of those guys, and
It actually makes it competitive and fun.
Right.
Yeah. See that, and I think that's where the 3-point contest has the dunk contest because it is a 3-point shooting league now. So all the 3-point shooters want to come in and see who's the best shooter. Dunk contest, nobody really cares. It's just kind of dunk, dunk, dunk. But I don't know. The analogy I like to use is the chicks dig the long ball. Well, now chicks are digging the 3-pointers in the NBA. So, what are your expectations or wants for the Cavs moving forward? Do you want them to tank? Do you want them to try to win? Because I'm on the side, I want them to win, and which is kind of backwards thinking, I guess, because in the NBA, for you to get better, you have to suck. But I don't like to lose. So, and we personally had a lot of losing in our softball team last year. So I like to win as much as possible. And even with the NBA draft lottery, you still don't get the guaranteed number 1 pick. So I feel like you can still get a solid player in the 5 to 10 range. But I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I don't necessarily want to see them tank, but at the same time, I'd much rather just see them compete.
Right.
Because they could be able to go out and put out a good 48 minutes of basketball. If you play 4 quarters of strong basketball, whereas it seems in the past they would have 3 strong and then kind of fall off in the fourth, or they have a strong first half and then kind of taper off in the second half. But I think the thing to kind of look forward to is getting all your guys back. You got Kevin Love, who starts slowly making his return. So to see how he incorporates with it and how he plays. You get Tristan back and all his off-court
Yeah, all that going on right now.
But who knows, maybe that split with the Kardashian might end that.
The curse.
Clear his head a little bit.
Curse.
But yeah, just to see how all these guys kind of mesh together and playing for the first time as a full unit, as a full squad, I think be more competitive. And I don't necessarily think they're going to make a miraculous run to a playoff spot.
Right.
But to be kind of not be the laughing stock of the league.
That's all I want. I mean, I don't expect us to go to the playoffs this year. We've lost 42 games already, so we've already lost over half our games. So just win, just win as many as you can.
As long as we get at least 23 wins, I'll be happy.
I'm cool with it.
Because the first time LeBron left, the first year after, we only got 22 games. So
Right,
if you win
just
more
beat
the
it.
second time around,
Just beat it, and you should. Now that Kevin Love's healthy, you'd think he'd win at least 12 games the second half of the year.
Right.
And we get a pretty good warm up game with Phoenix, who's not very good this year. So
Yeah, they're still trying to figure things out. So Kevin Love's still going to be on his minutes restriction, but
right.
He's kind of played solid in the games that he's been back, and kind of get him a little more playing time, get him back in a rhythm, be nice for that latter stretch.
No doubt. And so far, I like what I've seen from Sexton. I mean, I think he can play better defense, personally. I think he needs to learn how to feed his teammates the ball a little bit more because assist numbers are pretty low. But Kyrie Irving was the same way when he came into the league. Now, Collins is nowhere near what Kyrie was
Oh, no.
when he was a rookie. He's definitely not as flashy. He wasn't nearly the shooter. But I like the aggressiveness, and I just like his style of basketball. He just goes right at you, head on. So, to me, I don't think he's going to be a superstar player, but I think he can be, at the very least, he's going to be your sixth man going forward.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's definitely got the capabilities of being an up-and-coming star, and he's proven he can score. He's proven he can get it done when needed. Like you said, I think he's got to work on getting the ball around, kind of passing it rather than trying to do it all himself. But
Right.
Then
Right.
from what I've kind of noticed, having a guy playing alongside Jordan Clarkson doesn't really help.
Yeah, Clarkson likes to pull.
He's the new era JR. So
no doubt.
But it's pretty sad when your top scorer is your sixth man. So when
he dropped 43
when you're the only one scoring, I guess it.
I'm honestly shocked he was not moved to the trade deadline. I thought somebody would take him.
Oh yeah.
I definitely thought somebody was going to take him.
Of all the moves that they made, I figured there'd be a lot more teams calling about him because
right. He's not that bad. He's actually a decent scorer.
A lot of teams need an improvement on the bench, and it's definitely what he is.
Right. Yeah. He's not. I don't think he's a starter, but he can come off and give you 12 points easy. Now there are nights where he's like JR and he's going to airball everything. He's not going to give you anything, but you'll know that in his first 3 shots. If he's 66%, leave him in. If he's 0 for 3, pull him. Sit him down. It's not his night.
Right. Of all the guys they got rid of, like Alec Burks and Rodney Hood, and I was honestly surprised they kept him, but obviously they want to keep him for the future and think that he's got some kind of potential to be a leader.
Right.
So when he's your leading scorer,
you might as well, I guess.
Might as well keep what you got and see where you can go.
True that. All right, we're getting right into it. The best sport in the world is finally coming back. It came back today, and I forgot to listen to it, unfortunately. So I didn't see the final score of the Mariners and the Athletics, but I did know they played today. It was the first spring training game of the year, and the Yankees and the Indians both play on Saturday. When do the Reds play?
They start their season Saturday against Cleveland.
That's right. Oh, they are playing Cleveland.
They share a ballpark, and they're starting the season playing each other.
Nice. All right. So what are you expecting for the season? So what are you wanting to? Are you expecting the playoffs? Are you expecting just another year of growth? What is the expectation for your Cincinnati Reds?
To say they wanted to be a playoff team, I don't think we're quite there yet. But from where we were in the past with 3 consecutive seasons of 94-plus losses, I think we're making the moves in the right direction. I think with all the off-season additions that we brought in, bringing in Yasiel Puig, Matt Kemp, Alex Wood, basically just handing it to us because we traded in Homer Bailey, who went 1-14 last year, and Dodgers cut him, so they basically gave us those guys, and then bring in Sonny Gray, who just a couple years ago was a 15-game winner.
And me being a Yankee fan, I got to watch Sonny Gray have a horrible season, but the one thing I will say about Sonny Gray, if he pitches anywhere but New York, he's fantastic. If you look at his numbers, his ERA was sub-3 away from New York. When he pitched in New York, it was a 7.80 or 7.8. It's ridiculous. So I think in Cincinnati with a fresh start, I think you guys might have got a steal.
Yeah, so for him, it's his first time in his career in the National League, so that could really help. And like you said, that change of scenery might be just what he needed. And I think that was starting pitching was one of our weak points last year, and the only guy we had over 10 wins was in his first full season in Luis Castillo, and his ERA was like a 4.3. Like as a team, when you've got 5 starters who are all 4, 5 plus ERA, and it doesn't really get you very much. And you've got one of the top 6, 7 offenses in the league. But when you're starting pitching and not getting the job done, it's kind of hard. So for them to go out and address that issue and bring in some proven guys that have had success at the big league level and can get the job done, can actually keep us in games, might make things a little more interesting. I don't think we're quite a playoff team yet because that division's still pretty tough.
Right.
You've got Milwaukee, who won the division last year, who brought back a lot of their core guys. Chicago's still competitive. You got the Cardinals, who have gotten some guys back from injuries last year, so they're going to be competitive. So that division's going to be tough. So I don't think they're quite there yet. I think they're still missing that one little piece, which I think they're still missing a solidified ace, which
I don't know, dude. Sonny Gray could be pretty good for you. I'm telling you, don't sleep on. I didn't like Sonny Gray in New York because again he stunk in New York. Don't sleep on him. I'm telling you, he's gonna be a steal for you. I'm telling you.
I think looking forward, I think they're still at the beginning of off season. Their name was thrown around in the Dallas Keuchel talks. I don't know if where they're still at with that, if there's still a chance. But
I'm surprised he's still not signed. With the amount of teams that need a pitcher,
I think he's still waiting for Harper to sign because
that would make sense.
Because the Phillies are one of those top teams that were in on him, and Phillies go and land Bryce Harper, then that kind of takes them out. So I think he's still kind of seeing what the market's going to be like after the big names are off the board. Yeah, we've already got one of them off the board. Now see how
San Diego.
Right,
so he's kind of in baseball purgatory for a while.
I was kind of shocked with that one. I figured he'd want to go from the Dodgers to the Padres. I figured he'd want to go to a team that's going to be able to compete. But
yeah, to me, he just went from Baltimore to L.A. to a sunnier Baltimore.
Right.
To be completely honest. So Baltimore's starting their rebuild. So the Fett's not very happy about it because he's a big Orioles fan. So he's kind of dreading the season. But at least he's got the Indians to root for. And then he gets to see his favorite player go to almost the exact same team out west. So he just picked better weather. So to me, I think Machado was more about the money. Unless he got sold on the Padres organization getting ready to come up, because they do have some very good prospects on the infield.
They have one of the top minor league systems. So
so maybe he's thinking in 3 years. So maybe he's thinking 3 years because he's got that opt-out clause after the 5th year. So maybe he's thinking after 3 years or 4 years, if this isn't working, I'll just get traded and then opt out and try this again. I don't know, but I did not expect him in San Diego.
I was very shocked with San Diego. I didn't think they would be even a team to consider for a high-profile guy like that.
No. I mean, good for the fan base. He's going to sell tickets.
Oh, yeah, because all the reports were saying he was waiting for the offer from the Yankees and from all those teams where he can compete for a championship.
Right.
And
here come the Yankees at $60 million lower. The Padres come 10 years at $300 million. The Yankees are at $8 and $260.
The Yankees still got Gregorius. They still got Gleyber Torres.
Right. The only problem with Didi is that he's out for a while. I just hope they cut Ellsbury, man. There's nobody going to take that albatross of a contract. I just want them to go. He just got to get away.
So they're pretty set at the middle infield, so I didn't think they would really make a big money offer for him.
No, the only way I saw Machado coming here is if he played shortstop till Didi got back, which would have been closer to the trade deadline, and then you trade Andujar for a stud pitcher. So if the Indians are starting to struggle a little bit, then you can talk in Kluber, you can talk in Bauer, whichever one they want to get rid of. I mean, it might even be Bauer now that he's talking about his one-year contracts, just in and out. Yeah. So you could have maybe got a steal there, and then throwing in some other prospects, because straight up, obviously, he's not going to get it done. But then you never know. You never know if the guy from San Francisco, Bumgarner, he was a Yankee target for a while, so you don't know if San Fran would have, if they land Harper, do they go try to get Andujar to play third and anchor up another lineup? So that would have been the only way I saw Machado come to the Yankees. But I thought one of them was coming, and now it's looking like neither of them are coming. So
right. And Chicago, I think they took it the hardest because they had Rawlings posted the photo on their Instagram account about a week ago of Machado's new gloves where they're all black and white. So they kind of thought, all right, well we've got a big money offer for him. Right. His gear for this season's our team colors. Maybe that's a sign that he's coming. And then he makes that announcement he's going to San Diego. And
see, I'm wondering if he was really about to sign with the White Sox, and then San Diego called and trumped the offer. And then he just didn't call the White Sox back and counter back with, hey, the Padres brought me this.
Right.
I wanted to do this.
You're offering $250 million. San Diego's offering $300 million. What's your counter offer? But
right. So maybe he was like, yeah, I'm just going to go play in the sun instead of out in the cold in Chicago.
I don't blame him there.
Well, yeah, I don't blame him either. It's freaking cold here, man. I'm sick of this crap. So with Machado gone, it's looking like Harper's going to the Phillies. So if he doesn't go to the Phillies, where would you expect him to sign?
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back to Washington.
I agree.
Because I don't think he's going to be willing to take a short-term deal. That's what San Francisco's offering. Mm-hmm. But I think he's wanting more of that long-term kind of big deals that like Stanton's gotten in the past, what Machado just got.
Right.
So I think he's going to be looking for that long-term deal, and Washington's already thrown out a $330
yeah, he's already declined how many $300 million offers.
So if none of these other teams throw out money like close to that, the closer you get to the season, I think the more pressure he has to want to sign. So I think if it's not Philadelphia, I wouldn't be surprised to see him going back to Washington.
See, to me, I don't know why the Yankees don't offer him the money. I mean, I know you don't need an outfielder, but you teach him how to play first base because that's a glaring weakness right now. Because Luke Voit could have been just a splash of the pan, and you don't know what you got out of Greg Bird. You teach him how to play first base. That lefty in the middle of the lineup Oh my! Because right now we're so righty heavy. If you can go Judge 2, Harper 3, Stanton 4, who do you pitch to? And then you have
Gary
Sanchez right behind him, Didi behind that.
Yeah,
and then Gleyber Torres coming up. How do you stop? Who do you pitch to at that point? But
I think in that scenario, I'd much rather try to transition Judge to first, have that big body, big frame.
Something. Move Judge to center field. He said he'd play center field for it. I mean, he's not like the fastest guy, but he's not slow, and he's 6'7". Whatever he makes for in speed, he's gonna make up in the long strides.
He covers some ground.
He's athletic, so I don't. That was the one guy I really wanted. I kind of wanted Machado just to stick it to the Fett, because since he hates the Yankees, and but for him, I'm glad that he didn't play in his least favorite team or for his least favorite team, but. I want Harper for that lefty bat. I really do. I think the Yankees need a lefty bat in a bad way because it's so righty heavy right now. So righty heavy. But yeah, if Harper doesn't go to the Phillies, I think he's going to the Nationals. But I think the Giants would be smart to offer him a long-term deal. With that, they also have a short porch in right field.
Right.
And him hitting dingers into the bay sells tickets. Why not?
Right. I mean, that's kind of the same thing in Cincinnati with Puig. I think coming in to hitter-friendly Great American Ballpark, I wouldn't be surprised to see Puig hitting 30.
Oh yeah,
30 plus.
He can hit. He can hit him.
Add him into already kind of stacked lineup with throw him in the middle with Scooter Gennett, who was a 320 guy last year. Mm-hmm. Votto, who hopefully he bounces back after his worst season in his career, but then Suarez, who could have easily been an MVP candidate if he didn't get hurt at the beginning of the season because he was number 3 in batting or in RBIs, and then 4th in home runs, and he missed 25 games.
Right.
So you put those two bats in that lineup, offense is pretty much set.
Booming. You glad Billy Hamilton's gone?
In a sense, I'm definitely gonna miss like the highlight plays, but for a guy that with his kind of speed that's only getting on base about 30% of the time, I'm not gonna miss him.
Right.
And I'll take a guy like Puig, or even seeing our top prospect come up and see what he can do, transition from middle infield to center field. So I think you get a guy in Nick Senzel who's in his 4 years in the minor leagues batting, averaging 320. He hasn't hit under 300 in his 4 years since he's been drafted.
I should have called him up immediately.
Well, they had plans to bring him up last year, but then he got hurt midway through the season, so he's kind of bouncing back. So see what he can do in center field, and I think he'll have fans forgetting all about Billy Hamilton pretty quick.
Yeah, so it's hard to not to forget about Billy Hamilton. I mean, the 61 steals that 1 year was impressive. But, man, to me, it's like that hole that the Indians have right now at catcher. Well, when Roberto Perez was their catcher, and it was every time he got up, you knew he was out. He was batting 091 at one point in the year. To me, it's like, because I was talking about it with some buddies at work. I was just like, as fast as Billy Hamilton is, and as good of a defender as he is he really worth that gaping hole in the lineup, especially in the National League when you have him and then a pitcher? Then you have basically 2 gaping holes. So especially if they come up next to each other, then you're basically shortening your game.
Yeah, he was really only good for the excitement on the base pass, but when you can't get on base very often, it's kind of hard.
It's hard to take him when you don't get on the first one.
The only liability he was knowing anything in the air and anywhere near center field. He was tracking it down. But
right.
You can find defense. Really, you can teach defense. And you get a guy that can't hit.
Right. Yeah. It's hard.
Time to move on. I think that's going to be I think that's the big scare of teams with Harper is, and you really want to dish out $350 million for a guy that's going to bat 240 and strike out 150, 200 times.
I think it depends on what field he plays on. Because in Washington, he's in a pitcher-friendly park, where you get him in San Francisco, you get him in New York. Even you put him in Boston, they have a short right field where he pulls it. I bet you those home run numbers would just go through the roof. You're talking 40, 50 home runs from a guy.
Oh, yeah.
And that's really
last year.
Right, and that's really what the league's going to, is you're going to strike out a lot, but you're swinging for the fences, so you're going to get doubles, home runs, but you're also going to strike out 200 times. So, which I'm not a big fan of where the league's going that way personally, but I also think MLB has the worst commissioner in all of sports. And so I have a couple more questions for you. But before I get into the last question, because I've been waiting for the Fed on this one, I think we're going to be able to hook up this weekend. So, NBA's halfway through. Who do you think is going to win the NBA Finals? I don't think there's really a whole lot to debate here.
I think it's going to come down. Golden State's the by far favorite out of the West.
Yeah.
Then in the East, it's either going to be Toronto or Milwaukee. I think if Milwaukee can keep everybody healthy and keep playing at the pace they're at and how they're going, I think they're the favorite to win the East. I think Boston's still kind of learning. Some of those young guys are still trying to figure out how to work together with all cooperate with Kyrie and Gordon Hayward on the bench. I mean, they've got all the talent in the world, really.
Right.
But I just really don't think any team has an answer for the powerhouse that is Giannis.
Yeah, Giannis is a freak. It's not. I don't think it's a stretch to say that Giannis might have overtaken LeBron as the best player of the game. If somebody said that, I don't think I can. I could argue with them because I still think LeBron's the best. But it's hard to really get mad about it now because Giannis is really that good.
Right. So the East is going to be fun to watch, I think, between Milwaukee, Boston. I think Philly's all in.
Yeah, Philly's in it.
They made some moves at the deadline.
Yeah, their big four's
Toronto.
impressive.
So I think the East is going to be fun to watch. The West is really just going to come down to who can knock off Golden State.
If they can knock off Golden State.
See what playoff LeBron can do if he can
make the playoffs, because there's
if he can somehow manage to will them in. Can they make a run at it? Can Portland find a way? Can Damian Lillard and Portland find a way to pull off a miracle? They've been close in the past couple of years.
So you got who's winning the whole thing? Halfway through, right before we start back up tonight.
As much as I hate to say it, I think Golden State takes it.
I think Golden State wins it running away. I think they lose maybe one game in the West, and then I think they don't lose to anybody in the East.
Yeah, because they're getting a fully healthy DeMarcus Cousins back, so he's going to be...
They no longer have a weakness.
Right.
You can say that their bench is their weakness. Okay, I can go to my bench and still have 3 All-Stars on the court and still be better than you. And then when those 3 All-Stars are retired, I'm going to bring my other 2 back, and I'm still going to be better than you.
Right, yeah. Their lineup...
It's hard, man.
It's hard to cover.
You can't stop them.
5 guys that on any given night can put up 40.
That all can shoot threes. Well, Steph Curry's not good at defense, but everybody else on that team's good at defense.
Right.
So how their one weakness was center, and then they go get one of the best ones who can only destroy you in the paint and then out rebound you. Then he can pick and roll you, except he's going to do a pick and pop and hit a 3. It's just, you can't stop them, man.
There's no stopping it.
They're ridiculous.
We've seen it in the past couple of years. Curry has an off night, Klay Thompson goes off, or Durant goes off. Then,
unfortunately, we've seen that too many times in the finals.
Not many teams in the NBA have a 1 through 5 where any given night can just go off. You can't guard all 5 of them at once.
Right. No, you can't play 10 on 5. You try to double team everybody.
One guy has a dynamic first quarter, so you start trying to cheat over to his side, then he kind of passes off to another guy, and then they get hot, and
then you have a top 3 player in the league in Kevin Durant. Just throw in the mix of it,
right?
just to add all together.
They just have too many weapons. So I think this will be their last. I think they're going to make one last championship run, and I think that whole team splits apart.
All right, I like it. And then since sprint with just the first spring training game gone, bold prediction: who wins the World Series?
I'd still
way too early. You can change it later, but looking at it right now, Harper's not signed. Machado just signed. Very first game played.
I think it's going to be a repeat. I think Boston takes it. You think
the Red Sox wins it again?
I think they've brought back a lot of their core guys that won 110 games last year. So I think they've got the biggest target, but they're going to have a lot of competition in the American League. Yankees are tough. The Astros added a couple big pieces with bringing in Brantley.
Right.
So
then the Indians have possibly the best starting rotation in the league. The rest of the team's kind of questionable, but 1 through 5, they might have the best starting rotation.
The problem with Cleveland is you can have the best starting rotation, but if the offense isn't getting you runs,
that's it. That's where I think to me, I think the American League playoffs are going to play off very similar. The Indians are going to face the Astros in round one. The Yankees will face the Astros or face the Athletics in the wild card, just blow the brains out of them, and then you're going to have a rematch for everybody.
Yeah, I think Cleveland wins the division because that AL Central is still kind of down. I think Minnesota's on the way up.
Say next year, watch out for Minnesota. Not quite this year. I think they're going to give Cleveland a push this year. Probably lose it by about 5 games. But next year, I think if the Indians don't do anything, the Twins are going to take it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Cleveland, I think they've got some issues they've got to work out. So I think if they go through halfway, like you said, halfway through the season, if they're not having the season they're having, I think they kind of recall some of those teams in the offseason, call up Cincinnati, call up New York. They were making offers for Kluber and Bauer and continue to shed salary and rebuild.
I agree. All right, man. Well, thanks for stopping by. It was good to have you.
Having me.
All right, you guys. That was it for us. Hopefully we didn't take too much of your time tonight. Have a good time watching some baseball, and the NBA starts back up tonight. So go Cavs and go Yankees. I hope we can pull off the upset and beat everybody this year. All right, you guys. SkiveWalker signing off. Peace.